have a number of graduation ceremonies, nursing pinnings, law enforcement commencements. I think we have 14 ceremonies this week. With the graduation ceremonies, we are honoring a tradition that started 87 years ago here in Worthington and in the communities that we serve throughout the region. Each year, I'm impressed by the sheer number of graduates. This year, we are awarding 511 certificates, diplomas, and degrees to 468 students across our region. I am fortunate to work with Mike Comiskey and Ron Schwint, the instructors of this program, and I am proud of the work that these two instructors do. They show great dedication to their students, the program, and their profession. To protect and to serve is a noble calling. All of us are impacted by your work in the law enforcement community. Your presence, your approach, and your willingness to be servant leaders is not something that we should take for granted. Thank you all for being here today, for supporting your students in this milestone. It is important that their family members and friends are here to help celebrate as they begin the next part of their journey. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Terry Galswick, the president of Minnesota West, to the podium. Please help me welcome Dr. Galswick.
Thank you, Dr. Westra. Well, good morning. Let's one more time. That was pretty good, though. Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you this morning and to welcome the 2022 graduating class of our law enforcement program. I want to echo Kayla's comments. Thank you for choosing your career of public service as you think about a career as a public peace officer in this great state. So, graduates, today we are celebrating your hard work and grit. Your talent, commitment, and persistence is remarkable in all that has presented since you started your career here at Minnesota West. Students, as you continue on with your professional and personal goals, you'll be creating economic and social mobility for you and your families. You'll be contributing to the peace of our community and also enhance the vitality of our community. Our greatest hope, my greatest hope, is that you will continue to invest your talents and energy and servant hearts here in this great state of Minnesota. Maybe even a few years down the road as a member of our faculty in our law enforcement program. The heart of our college is the persons who serve our students. Although ever challenging and changing, a career of service in higher education is filled with purpose. Today, I wish to take just a few moments to recognize those who serve our students. But all the faculty, staff, and administration of Minnesota West, including those in the audience, please rise and let's show them a round of applause for our gratitude. Faculty, staff, and administration. Joining us today, too, are two distinguished individuals who will be retiring from the college. I'm going to ask them to stand as well. It's a privilege to serve with these individuals. They've been with us a number of years. Gordy Heitkamp won't be with us next fall when we start. He retires in July. And our provost, Dr. Jeff Williamson, will be retiring in August. And they've served us with distinction over the past years. Can we give them a round of applause for their service? Graduates, there is great opportunity across this region. Please consider a career service here in Southwest Minnesota, and I'm not going to be bashful. Maybe you want to think about a career in teaching somewhere down the road as well. Congratulations, and thank you for joining us today. I nearly forgot something. In fact, I did. I have an opportunity this morning to welcome a distinguished gifted leader from our system office. It is now my pleasure to welcome a colleague and a friend of Minnesota West. Bill and I started as presidents at one time in this great state. Vice Chancellor Bill Mackey serves as the Minnesota State Vice Chancellor of Finance and Facilities. Prior to this appointment, Bill served as the president of the Northeast Higher Education District, the far northeast part of our state, and Bill has also served as a distinguished career of service at Bemidji State University, Northwest Technical College, and at Itasca Community College. Over the past 2 days, he's toured all of Southwest Minnesota and all of our locations. Please join me in welcoming a friend to Greater Minnesota and my colleague, Vice Chancellor Mackey.
Well, good morning. On behalf of the Minnesota State Board of Trustees and Chancellor Malhotra, I offer our warmest congratulations to all of you graduating today from Minnesota West. We know that to get to this day, you've had to juggle work, family, and community responsibilities while pursuing your studies, and you did all of this successfully through, let's just say, an extraordinary time. We are so very proud of your dedication and perseverance. We are confident the education you received has equipped you well to be leaders in both your careers and your community, and truly believe that each of you represents hope for a bright and bold future for your families, for your community, for Minnesota, and for our world. All of us who are celebrating with you today do so because we believe in the power of public higher education and how it changes lives. Today we celebrate because this outstanding, accessible, affordable, and relevant education that colleges like Minnesota West have provided to you and thousands of others has never been more important. As you move to the next stage of your life's journey, please know that just because you are graduating, you will never lose your connection to Minnesota West. You will carry the impact this college has with you no matter where you go. So Minnesota West Law Enforcement Class of 2022, on behalf of all the people who applaud your achievements, please accept my congratulations and thank you.
Oh, I don't roast you right away. This guy's got to grab his glasses first. There's no pockets in these gowns, so there's no place to put anything. Otherwise, I got to lift it up and pull something out of a pocket. There we go. I'll be able to read my notes now. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for family coming out for the 2022 law enforcement graduation. Thank you for being here for your family, for your student that's graduating today, because you are their support system. Our students started their journey to become eligible to become peace officers in the state of Minnesota just a little over 2 years ago. They started thinking about attending college and coming here for law enforcement. Over the years, I've gotten to know all these students pretty well. Go back and think about 2 years ago from now. COVID was something brand new to us 2 years ago. We had just started wearing masks in different places. George Floyd, Daunte Wright, and defund the police hadn't happened yet. But by the time the class of 2022 started their first semester, George Floyd had been killed, and the defund movement was becoming a battle cry, and Daunte Wright would be killed their first spring semester in school. So the spring semester of 2021, Daunte Wright was killed in Brooklyn Center. So this graduating class you see before you has seen a lot of changes and challenges for law enforcement, which will probably follow in to their careers as law enforcement officers. Our graduates for their first 3 months, for their first 3 semesters, wore masks in class, and the instructors wore masks. So you can think of the challenges of not being able to see people's faces. But then when they removed the masks, there might have been some challenges there in looking at faces. It's okay to laugh. But it was a good change to be able to see smiles on faces, to be able to look at the young men to make sure that they were shaving because they had this thing covering their face for a lot of the time. You could kind of see they weren't keeping up to the regulations, but that's been taken care of since we were able to take our masks off. Our graduates, they started their journey in a larger group. They lost some students along the way. They gained a couple students along the way. But what you see before you right now in these graduates is the people that went forward, finished it through, saw it to the end, and are sitting before you right now. They'll be standing later. But as a group, life might have thrown them a curveball or two. There might have been obstacles along the way, but they persisted, and now they've done well, and now they're here. They've learned that overcoming today's obstacles is practice for tomorrow's trials. You've done well so far. Stay the course no matter what life throws at you. Our students have learned to work together through challenges. They've learned to become a close-knit team most of the time, hopefully. Some better team members than others, but pretty good team members in that. They've made it to this point, so now I'd like to share some thoughts that I have about them, some insights that maybe you wouldn't get at a graduation ceremony unless we knew our students rather well. So let me start with Kaylin. They know that they've been waiting for this. This is when the instructor roasts them before everybody that's come here to see them graduate. As you can see, Kaylin's rather big. When Kaylin was born, his mom and dad ordered him in supersize. And no doubt, I had to stand next to him for a photo, and then I looked dwarfed, so I don't feel so bad now. He's the law enforcement club president. The first thing you do notice about him is his size. What you'd learn about him in spending some time with him is that he's also a big person in heart, too. He kept busy this semester starring in the Minnesota West play. I was told he fell off the stage during the play, and it looked like it was part of the performance. Kaylin, your ability to be able to roll with things like that will do you well when you're in law enforcement. You can go ahead and sit, please. Grayson Anderson. If you need someone to show you how to play Fortnite, Grayson's the one that can assist you with this. So meet with Grayson after the ceremony and he'll tell you how you can play Fortnite. He probably knows where all the Easter eggs are too. Grayson has a knack for sniffing out conspiracies. Grayson, keep looking for all the answers and keep that sense of inquisitiveness. You can go ahead and sit. Mystica Areola. Mystica started out as our work-study student. Her first year continued on into her second year. She has continued to even help us after her work-study ran out because she got a decent-sized grant that wiped out her work-study. But she's been there to help us all along the way. One thing you want to know about Mystica is you ask her to do something for you, she will get it done. You don't have to worry about it getting done. One thing you really do need to know about her is she startles real easy. Seriously, I've walked into rooms and go, oh. She's almost scared me with her being startled so badly. So keep this in mind. If you talk to Mystica after the graduation ceremony, be prepared. She might get startled and you might have to revive her. You can be seated. Nick Fight. Nick came to play basketball and he earned an associate's degree along the way. This year, Nick settled on playing basketball in the Y League with fellow students. How many? You guys did really well, right? Oh, okay. He's going to tell the truth. How many teams? What place? 6. So they weren't the top seed by any means. But they did have a good time, and they even got Ryan to play once. Where is he? You got to play? Okay, just once. Well, I don't know how we did that. And I already went out of order anyway. All right. Nick does, see, this just fits in with what, Nick's always so quick about things, he doesn't always wait for instructions though. And in this case, he was so quick he went before Ryan before I could get to Ryan. Just fits in. Nick is quick like a bunny. Please be seated. All right, Ryan, I went over you. You must have hit or something. You can please stand. Ryan reached out to me over a year ago about coming to Minnesota West to complete his Minnesota skills training for policing. In Minnesota, we don't have a state academy per se. Our academy skills, what you'd consider academy type skills, are done in the local community college. So after Ryan was graduating from Dordt with his degree, he sought out our school to finish his skills. He jumped into it right away. He's a great fit in coming into a group that was already established. Ryan worries about grades. Earlier this semester, he sent me an email about being worried about passing the crime scene processing class. And he's told me it wasn't him that sent me the email, but I know it was him that sent me the email because it was poorly written. And Ryan, let's admit it. You know, when you were struggling trying to learn how to do the fingerprinting and you didn't do very well, you did have some sleepless nights. You may be seated. Samantha Forstrom. Now, I could spend a lot of time on Samantha because she's my bestie. Samantha came in to apply. She was waiting for me to say that. Samantha came in to apply to the program the Friday before classes started in August 2020. At the time, she's worried what I'm going to say, but don't worry. I know she wasn't thrilled that she'd have to dye her hair to meet the program rules, but she showed up on Monday with her hair dyed to a color that would be okay with our rules for school. Samantha liked the regulations so much, she volunteered to let me know if anybody else needed to dye their hair. There's so much more I could say about Samantha, but I won't because this isn't just about Samantha. Please be seated. Trevor Grease. It's so easy to pick on you, but it's okay. Oh, like I got kicked out of the service there. I don't know. Okay, so Trevor toured the school 5 times. Every time there was a tour or a law enforcement day, Trevor came. He came 5 times. And I thought it's because he just liked the program so much, but later I found out that he was just trying to learn where everything was on campus. We are a very small campus, though, but he did master how to find out where all the buildings were. He keeps telling us he's bulking up. Do a 360 for us. He's been trying to bulk up. This guy eats noodles like they're going out of style. So we know he doesn't have any problem with celiacs or anything like that because he can eat all those wheat products without any problem. He keeps telling us he's bulking up. I don't think it's working. I mean, if you noticed, his dimensions are the same front and sideways. So it may work. He's already got a job. He's already working with his dad. His dad is in law enforcement. Dad, I feel so sorry for you being his FTO. But I know he's doing well and I know he's in good hands. Please be seated. Edgar Ibarra. Edgar has this thing about him. He's easy to talk to. He's easy to get along with. He and I have talked a lot about hunting in southeastern Minnesota because I know his family hunted a lot down in an area where I hunted a lot, and I'm originally from southeastern Minnesota, Bluff Country. So he also has a family interest in law enforcement. His grandfather's retired from law enforcement locally and actually went through our program too. One thing, there's an interesting fact about Edgar. He sells shoes online. It's very interesting. I mean, he had some slides that I probably would wear if he'd let me. But he actually did say I could try them on. They looked so nice and comfortable. But then when he told me they were $160, I said I'd have to think twice about putting those on my feet. Because my slides don't cost $160. But, you know, if law enforcement doesn't work out for Edgar, he's a shoo-in for internet sales. It's a dad joke, come on, it's okay to laugh. Be seated. I heard he likes dad jokes anyway. Destiny Miller. Is Ryan here? Where is he? Where's Ryan? Oh, good. Look, everybody look at Ryan. This is why Destiny came to Minnesota West. He's a graduate of our program. You can sit down now. He's a graduate of our program. Destiny fell in love with that man from Bigelow, Minnesota. I don't know why. But she did. So she started off her law enforcement education over in South Dakota, but decided to come here because of love and what a great school we are too. I mean, that all fits into it. And plus she could be certified for the state of Minnesota. Destiny makes great decisions. Let me rephrase that. Destiny makes decisions. I don't know about that Ryan thing. I don't know if that's going to work out or not. All right, Destiny, you can be seated. Dolph Svoboda. Dolph and I started talking over the phone, over the internet, because he was living in Florida when we first started talking about the program and going over everything, and that he was moving to Minnesota. He assured me he was moving to Minnesota. It took us a while to meet up, but we got everything done. He and his dad came and talked to me about the program over the summer, and we got them all lined up. And we talked about Florida, because I have a sister that lives in about 30 miles from where his dad lives down in Florida. And we talked about that. Dolph is in the hunt for a Minnesota State Patrol job right now, and more than likely he will be headed to the Minnesota State Patrol Academy here in the summer. Have fun at Camp Ripley. That ought to be fun. Dolph worked in retail in Florida before starting the program. So if anyone needs a discount at Ralph Lauren, or now, Trevor, Edgar, Tyler, if you need points on growing a beard, Dolph can help you out with that too. Please be seated. Last but not least. Oh yeah, you can stand up, Tyler. Tyler's been waiting. Tyler's heard a little bit of my shtick as we've been finishing out the semester. He knew he was getting roasted because I should have you, no, I better not have you tell him why you're getting roasted more. Because he'd drop an F-bomb, no doubt. His middle initial ought to be F. It ought to be Tyler F. Wallard. Every time. You know, he's a slow learner. We start out the first semester. I assure you, he is graduating, though. We start out the first semester, and I teach a class called Communication Relations. And in that class, I start talking to students about how important it is to maybe start thinking about cleaning up our language. Because under stress, a lot of those words that you say on a daily basis will come out of your mouth. And I really don't want to watch on Police One or some other show, TMZ or something else, because your body cam footage has gone viral because you couldn't keep your potty mouth shut. Everybody else does pretty well with this. Tyler has struggled just a little bit. I've told him several times throughout the 2 years, I said, do you need me to call your mom? Tyler? Yeah, I probably did. I should have called your mom. Karen is here. You can go ahead and stand, Karen. Karen, I think we can still cure this problem. Oh, I'm sure it will. Tyler is also, you're getting more roasted than you thought. Where are you going to lunch? They're going to Subway. Here, please do not go to Subway if Tyler is in line in front of you. He is so indecisive. He's the only student I've had in my years of teaching that put depends for an answer on a true and false question. For heaven's sakes, Tyler, make up your mind, make a decision. You can be seated. End of roast. All kidding aside, I'm glad to know the young men and women of our program. I love teaching our future officers. I love to get to know each and every one of them as the 2 years has gone by, and it goes by quick for me. It's my pleasure to be your instructor. Remember where you came from. You are Minnesota West. Mr. Schwint.
Ron had to step out for just a moment, so we're going to go ahead and show the student video, and then we will have his speech.
foot race them.
at this time, I'd like to introduce our student speaker, Kaylin Brands.
Big thank you to Dolph for that wonderful slideshow. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm Kaylin Brands, and I'm the president of the Law Enforcement Club here in Minnesota West. What peculiar roads life brings us down. I don't think until about 4 years ago I could have ever imagined being here. Of course, every child at one point or another will tell you that they want to be a cop when they grow up, and I'm no different in that regard. However, the most certain path I saw myself on was engineering. It was only after I put together that engineering would require another 4 years of math that I started to look elsewhere. It was after a career interest test for one of my high school classes that showed law enforcement as a field of interest that I started to think about the difference I could make. Even if it was a small difference in the grand scheme of things. And I have no doubt in my mind that if you ask anyone else here, they're driven by a similar purpose. I'll stop prattling on about myself, as that isn't what today is about. Today is about us and everything we've accomplished together. We've all spent long days and sleepless nights working towards this, some more than others. I remember several times I heard something that caught my attention, and I asked Dolph or Ryan how much sleep they had gotten the previous nights, and they would look at me and say, "Oh, we worked through the night." And I'd wonder, either to myself or out loud, how are you still alive? It's been difficult, but none of us could have done this alone. We've all leaned on not just each other for support, but also our wonderful instructors. At every step, they've given us mountains of advice and taught us invaluable skills, drawing on their vast wells of experience. I could not have asked for better instructors. And so on behalf of the Law Enforcement Club, I would like to thank Mike Comiskey, Ronald Schwint, and Kevin Flynn. I know that if I were in over my head, I could count on anyone in this class to help me. I am confident that this class can overcome any challenge set before us, and I look forward to seeing everything we have yet to accomplish.
Mr. Schwint got a little hot and is resting right now. So if you just keep him in your thoughts. He did have a couple of awards he wanted to recognize people with. I'm going to just start with one of the quotes on Mr. Schwint's page that he left here. He quotes Martin Luther King Jr., "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively, and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education." We try and instill that in our students, and I know Mr. Schwint tries to instill that in all of our students when he's teaching them the skills. One of the awards that we have is called the Top Gun Award. It's for our firearms class, and it's not just about shooting and things like that. There's much more that goes into firearms training and tactical management to that. Each year we pick the top student based on their test scores, their range scores, and then other scores for scenario-based training. This year's recipient is Ryan Bridgewater. Ryan. We do have another award. It's called the Midwest Nice Award. It's awarded in recognition that we've never had anybody go on our driving simulator and get to a four-way stop and flag the vehicles through. But we did this year. Trevor Grease is the recipient of the Midwest Nice Award. It's okay to let the avatars go first. Thank you. You're welcome. And Grayson, Mr. Schwint had a special gift for you. You can silence your keys now. Thank you.
Good morning. I would like to call your attention to the list of graduates who are in the program. Those students who are graduating with honors or high honors are noted. I commend all of these students on their outstanding academic performance. Students who are members of the National Honor Society, Phi Theta Kappa, are also indicated. If I could ask the high honors and the honor and Phi Theta Kappa students to please stand and be recognized. Congratulations on your outstanding work. You may be seated. I would also like to acknowledge our students who are veterans. We acknowledge them by wearing red, white, and blue cords. I would ask the veterans also stand who are in our audience tonight. Our students, staff, faculty, administration, and our guests who are veterans, please rise. Let us acknowledge you. Thank you for your service. This morning, our candidates for graduation will be recognized by name, their degree, and course of study. President Galswick, it is my privilege to present to you the 2022 candidates for graduation. Each has satisfactorily completed their requirements for their course of study, and all are recommended for graduation by their faculty and the administration of Minnesota West Community and Technical College.
Grayson Anderson. Don't forget the president. Mystica Ariola. Kaylin Brands. Ryan Bridgewater. Nick Fight. Nick. Samantha Forstrom. Trevor Grease. Edgar Ibarra. Destiny Miller. Dolph Svoboda. I don't know if I should even call your name. I will anyway. Tyler Wallard.
Would the graduating class please rise and face your guests? It is my privilege to present to you the Minnesota West Community and Technical College graduating class of 2022, our law enforcement program. By the authority vested in me by the state of Minnesota and the Board of Trustees of the Minnesota State Colleges and Universities, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the appropriate associate's degrees, diplomas, or certificates with all the rights and privileges thereof. Students, and that's the last time I use that term, you may now change your tassels from the right to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest alumni of Minnesota West Community and Technical College.
Please be seated. This concludes our graduation ceremony. I ask our audience to remain seated until the graduates have filed out, and then join us for a reception. It's room 302. It's across the hall and in the foyer.